Amarawa Hopa. Thank you for joining us. We start with the historic day as President Biden appoints a Native woman to become the nation's next treasurer. On Tuesday, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen visited the Rosebud tribal lands in South Dakota. During her visit, she announced Mohegan citizen Lynn Malerba will be the first Native American to serve as treasurer. Malerba will also lead the department's newly established Office of Tribal and Native Affairs.
Treasurer Malerba will expand our unique relationship with tribal nations, continuing our joint efforts to support the development of tribal economies and economic opportunities for tribal citizens. Importantly, we look forward to working with tribal nations and Congress to make this office permanent.
President of the National Congress of American Indians, Vaughn Sharp, called the move truly historic. The treasurer oversees the U.S. Mint, and their signature appears on the nation's currency. And we'll have more on this story later in our newscast. In Canada, the Assembly of First Nations has voted to suspend its first female national chief. Roseanne Archibald was first elected in July 2021. Then last week, the advocacy organization said she had been suspended because of a public statement she made that allegedly attacked the integrity of the body. Archibald will be suspended with pay pending the outcome of an investigation into 4 complaints against her. Archibald responded by defending herself against allegations of bullying and harassment. She said she, quote, welcomed the investigation, calling the move a smear campaign. AFN said the move to suspend her was regrettable, but they had, quote, no other choice. Archibald will remain suspended until the executive committee reviews the findings of the investigation and makes a final decision regarding her status. In Minnesota, a trailblazing Ojibwe City Council member has died. Renee Van Nett was the first Native woman elected to the Duluth City Council. In early June, Van Nett died at 52 after losing a battle with cancer. Her strong commitment to her Ojibwe culture and spiritual ways showed through all aspects of her life. Van Nett had been serving her second term on City Council and even expressed plans to run for state senate. After her passing, the state's Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan declared the day of her funeral Renee Van Nett Day in the state of Minnesota. The Northeast tribes that make up the Wabanaki Confederacy are one of the first in North America to greet the sun, so it fits that a Wabanaki prayer will help open a comprehensive celebration of Indigenous culture in Washington, D.C. this month. Stuart Huntington has more.
Welcome, everyone. Together.
Dwayne Toma is dedicated to preserving his Passamaquoddy ancestors' language and songs and gives them new life in the 21st century.
The language is so important to our people.
Later this month, Toma will travel to Washington, D.C.'s Kennedy Center to represent the Passamaquoddy and the other Wabanaki nations at a major celebration of Indigenous culture and thought. The event marks the 25th anniversary of First Peoples Fund and the 50th anniversary of the Kennedy Center.
Oh my God, it's an absolutely honor to be able to come to Washington, D.C., to be able to share historical songs and stories of our people. It's an absolute honor.
The 3-day event features workshops, performances, film screenings, cooking demonstrations, and panel discussions led by Native artists, storytellers, and tribal elders that celebrate the arts, culture, and resilience of the continent's Aboriginal peoples. To some, it couldn't come at a more important juncture.
We've seen in the last several years a lot of decomposition of our social fabric.
And perhaps the expo can provide visibility to Indigenous values that could serve as a repair kit for that fabric.
This show is a collision between a kind of futurity that wants to see a better, more joyful and equitable space for us all, and the best elements of this country's past, pre-Columbus.
In Machias, Maine, Stuart Huntington, ICT.